Yo, this video is going to help people design their Trampler. The game is still in beta right now, so things may change in the future. When you first start up, you'll need to select the Trampler before you start an expedition. The game gives a default of 3 different builds to choose from. You'll notice each one shows the amount of crew, cannons, and cargo slots for each build. Honestly, the only one that's actually worth using is the 3-person default option. It will be a good option to use for solo or duo, and even a trio if someone just wants to drive. However, if you have a group of 3 or more, there are better options than the default. That's when creating your own comes in. First, let me explain why the other 2 default builds aren't worth it. It comes down to all the default builds only have 2 cannons, and they fill up the space with multiple stories with cabins and ladders. So it basically doesn't do much more other than hold more people and cost more. The cost is going to be important at the beginning, because you'll be using scrap to build your Trampler. When you die, you lose your Trampler, so you'll have to rebuild it over and over. The only way to get more scrap is to find it on the expedition or use the coins from the expedition to buy some. Either way, you might be dying a lot at the start, so you want to be smart about building a minimal build. So starting out the blueprint, check where the arrows are, because that's going to be the front of the Trampler. Then you'll be placing the legs and base foundation. You'll be able to unlock different ones in the future. Going to the next tab, you'll see titles with essential next to them. Those of course are going to be a requirement to finish your build. So start with your steering placement. It's a good idea to place it at the front. That way you can see where you're going. After placing it, you'll see that it's red, and when you look at the bottom right, it will say that the reachability is in question. All that means is that the captain's cabin needs to be able to reach it. So technically, you could place the cabin right next to it with the door leading to it, and the red error will go away. But that's not a good build, so we'll remove that and continue down the line. Next being the motor reactor, which will be the heart of your Trampler. This is the engine that keeps you going, and if this is destroyed, so is your Trampler. You can figure out where you want to place this, but the back end will most likely always be facing outward. You can't place buildings directly behind it, so I'll just place that down for now. Next is the captain's cabin, which is going to be the captain's spawn point. It's a good general rule to keep it on the opposite side of where your entrance is. So after placing the cabin, you'll move down to the entrance. You'll place the entrance on one of the flat sides of the foundation. But once you place it, you'll actually see that the entrance is wide open. That's where placing a 2-person cabin comes in next. Just like the captain's cabin, the back end can't be blocked. But using the 2-person cabin is the only way to secure a doorway to the entrance of your Trampler at the beginning. Since we're talking about doorways, be sure to press T and make sure the doorway is active. You'll be able to toggle between a doorway, an open arch, and a solid wall. Now that you have that whole tab covered, let's move on to storage. There are 3 options at the beginning, and for this layout, I think an L-shaped storage is good. That way, you can still pass by easily and won't block any doors. Lastly, you need your weapon or weapons. If you are solo, you'll be wanting your weapon close to your wheel so that you can run back and forth. This is the most basic layout you should use. That Trampler I just built is only 230 scrap to rebuild. That's incredibly low, as well as the maneuverability being 57 and the weight is only 8,500. Maneuverability is going to help you turn faster, and I noticed that the weight impacts how fast or slow you go uphill. I'd say the cost is what I look at first. Everything you see costs scrap, while the motor and weapons will cost the most at 50 scrap at the beginning. So while solo, I normally use 1 weapon, but can always add one on the back as well. But adding multiple layers and making a huge Trampler can start adding up in costs, as well as lower the maneuverability with every added piece. It's important to make sure that every piece you add is necessary, otherwise you're just hurting yourself. However, sometimes you have a strategy to your madness, so I just wanted to show how you can build more width to your Trampler, and that's by using frames. Overhanging frames can be tricky, because they need to be adjacent to a flat wall or frame. So with that in mind, you can technically build something like this using frames. So this makes building very versatile and possibly find hidden OP builds. But the higher you go and the wider you go, the stability and cost takes a hit. If you know what the stability actually does, Let me know in the comments. I assume you may take damage easier, but I haven't fully been able to test it out.